Welcome everyone to tonight's event from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We are live here for the Western Super Series. Adam Chapman with you in the booth, being joined by Collar Hope here in just a few moments. He's working out a couple of things, and he will be joining us in the booth here very shortly in just a few moments. Welcome to tonight's race. It's going to be a fun one. 60 laps around this place, and we got a full house here so far. It is over 40 drivers set to try to make this 24-car field, and it's going to be a fun one to see who makes it here in qualifying, and of course over to the heat race. And sadly I forgot to look at my heat race and see how many laps it was, but I do apologize. But anyway, one of the biggest things I've noticed so far since coming into the session, I've been watching these guys run. Turn 2 has been a problem. Here's been one of the biggest problems I've seen so far. Right there, you see that track temp. It is over 125 degrees, and that is going to cause these super late models to slip and slide all over this track, especially out of turn 2 and turn 4. That's where we're going to see a lot of drama possibly happening in this one. Coming into tonight, we are looking at the points. Once I find that. By the way, Collar Hope with me now in the booth. Collar, you got me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Got you loud and clear, man. Welcome to New Hampshire.
Yeah, watching this practice, like you said, that track temp is hot, which means the track is very, very slick, and we're seeing cars slide all over the place, so it's going to be definitely trying to keep the rear end underneath you throughout this event.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things to really focus on here before I bring up the points is this track really burns tires off. It's a flat track, 1 mile track, but usually we see on flatter tracks usually burn up the tires.
Yeah, tire conversation in this race is going to be huge, especially going, I believe, 60 laps tonight.
Yeah,
it's going to be a long one. It's going to be a marathon. It's going to be a lot of patience to survive this race.
So coming into tonight, Christopher Bone and Kyle Edgar currently on top of the leaderboard in point-wise, 91 points, both tied there. But Stephen Chung, Cody Brinson also tied with 89, and Ryman Castle rounds off in 5th place. So are you coming in here right now, and this is the question I got for you, this is the 3rd race of the season for these guys, are you coming in here right now thinking about the point standings?
I mean, it's always got to be something you keep in the back of your mind. I mean, points are huge. You don't want to be stuck late in a B main, have to work your way up through the A. You want to get a good qualifying run and kind of ensure as many points as possible. And it's just something, I mean, you got to keep in mind, big picture. You don't want to do anything stupid during the main event early on to ruin your chances later throughout the year. And it's a big thing about this is just be consistency throughout the year.
That is for sure. Special thanks, by the way, I want to go ahead and give them out to Narrative Coffee Company and Velton's Coffee Roasting Company. And also want to give a shout out to Shane Weinmiller. He is the owner of the cameras that we are using here tonight. So we got some new cameras from him. I want to shout him out. So if anybody out there is looking for some cameras, get with Shane Weinmiller. You can find him on the iRacing flea market page and get you some cameras. Pretty good deal, by the way. I think they're like $20 for every track, and I think all the updates are really good. He's going to be working on all kinds. So check them out and check him out as well. So we mentioned the track temp, 125 degrees. How conservative do you think these guys are going to be, especially once we get over to the feature race? We know the main or the heat race is going to be crazy.
Yeah, those heat races in that B main event are especially is going to be what I'm keeping my eye on. It's going to be, I think the B main is where we're really going to get a true test to see how much the tires fall off over those short early runs and how much people are really willing to push. When it comes to main event time, hopefully these drivers will kind of keep a calm head. You can't win the race on lap 1, so hopefully they don't do anything to jeopardize the rest of the event, and it will lead to some great action later on. Tires are going to be very slick late in the running, so if we get a caution, you know it's going to be a lot of cars sliding around, and it's going to be a great finish.
Yeah, we know that these guys are not allowed to take tires. Even this is 60 laps. I mean, with these types of cars, it can take a while, especially as hot as it is. You know, you're not going to be pushing too hard, I don't expect, but you never know. Next week, or 2 weeks from tonight, we head to Lucas Oil Speedway. That's a fun track. So, and for people that don't know Collar Hope, Collar, I know you've been in the booth before, but for people that might not know, it might just now be tuning in, tell everybody a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, for the past year and a half, actually, I've been working over at Evergreen Speedway, doing some announcing, doing a lot of media stuff, a lot of behind-the-scenes work as well. It takes a lot to get a short track running, and couldn't be more grateful for that opportunity to work at one of the best in the West. I also work for Speed 51 part-time as a Western associate, so I travel around covering races for you guys and just doing anything I can that involves racing.
Did you happen to see that Martinsville race that took place this past week?
Yeah, I watched part of that. I did see the biggest thing that everyone's talking about, that
Yeah.
rollover. You don't really see a late model flip around like that, so it was definitely some shocking images to look up.
That's for sure. So qualifying about to get underway here. We're waiting till these guys start to roll off. Don't know sure who it's going to be right now. How important is it to start up front in a place like this?
I think it's pretty important. The biggest thing is just staying out of trouble, and if you're up front, you usually can stay out of it quite often. There's tends to be less accidents up front, but you never really know. I think it's just a safer spot is to be up front.
So Daniel Dye's rolling up on pit road. Him in the 54 of Stephen Mastro, and I think Jordan Berry also there in the 26. And I'm not sure who else is going to be coming up. We'll have to wait and see. But you see Daniel Dye sitting here at the end of pit road. Of course, this is a group qualifying session. So the 43 of Daniel Dye about to roll out here in just a moment. He comes in here sitting 9th in points. He didn't have too good of a week last week. I don't know exactly where it was he finished, but he only picked up 33 points. And of course, the week before, he picked up 45. So qualifying is underway, and you see the number 43 rolling out here in that Solar Fit super late model as qualifying is now ready to become official as we work on the backstretch here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, these straightaways are long, and same with the corners. This is a little over a mile long track, so it'll be interesting to see what these drivers really can do because we've been on short tracks for the most part. So this is going to be one of the bigger ones they go to throughout the year.
Yeah, one of the biggest tracks, and I was here to ask you about that. A lot of guys you see on these bigger tracks usually are a lot more aggressive than what we see on the shorter tracks. You think that there's a reason for that, or is it just, that they feel like there's more room out there?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Is that they have more room to sort of make moves, take some chances. So it'll be interesting to see how aggressive they decide to get as cars are rolling out for qualifying.
Yeah, Steven Mastro out now, getting ready to put down a lap, and in that number 54 car, working off turn number 4 across the start-finish line. Daniel Dye currently with the pole with a 30.970. Steven Mastro with a 31.021. So he's probably looking for a little bit more. We'll jump back to Jordan Berry, probably looking for more as well. A 31.570 on the 26 car as he works down the backstretch into turn number 3. And you got to enter these turns a lot different, man. This is not your low line type of track. You kind of want to ride that middle groove, it looks like.
Yeah, and the thing is with running the inside line is you're gonna be eating up your tires a lot. It puts a lot more pressure on those right side tires. So if you kind of are able to roll the corner a little bit more, kind of drift up, do almost like a diamond throughout the corner, it'll be the best way to save tires and also carry speed down these long straightaways.
Yeah, and really, I've seen it as the 43 gets loose coming out of turn 2, able to correct it and get that car into the wall, but not too much damage. But one thing I've noticed with the trucks and even the cup cars, you are really aggressive, and we're going to expect the same thing here. There's going to be a lot of aggressive. I guess we can go ahead and call it aggressiveness going into the corner. You're going to basically attack the turns going in. You do got to use the brake here quite a bit, so these guys, definitely got to be careful not to get any flat spots or anything like that on the tire, because we do know that can happen.
Yeah, these corners are going to be tricky. I mean, they're going to have to be entering each corner 60 times tonight, and it's definitely going to be tricky, especially when you put a bunch of the cars around them. Hitting their points is going to be huge. I wouldn't be surprised to see if we see a few guys miss their mark every now and then and drift up and make contact with that outside wall, like we saw Jordan Berry do briefly during his qualifying run.
And you see Jordan Berry blinking a little bit there. It should be okay. Hopefully, come race time, but you see the sponsor on his car, relatively executive on front. Good looking paint. I know Jordan Berry paints his own car, so that's a good looking job on that one. We see him sliding up into turn 3 and 4 right now. Second round or a second group is about to come out here in just a moment. So in the chat right now, let me know who you're pulling for. Let me and Kyler know. We'll get our picks, I'm sure, here soon, but I personally don't really know because this track is so different. As you see, the 26, the rotor's blowing on the brakes already, and that goes to show how much brake these guys do use.
Yeah, for a mile-long track, it's just these long straightaways that carry so much speed. Almost, I think I saw cars hitting 140, almost 150 during practice. So you're flying into those corners and you're getting hard on those brakes, trying not to flat spot like you said, and keep the car underneath you the best you can getting off these corners because the back end will want to step out ever so slightly. It's going to be a lot of throttle control, and It's gonna be some good driving.
This is one of the tougher tracks that these guys go to be honest. Even though we face a lot of short tracks, like for example, as I mentioned, next week or 2 weeks from tonight, we go to Lucas Oil, that Langley 2 weeks ago, with Five Flags 2 weeks before that. But honestly, this is a tougher track considering. But can you learn from this race? Because here in a couple weeks, we do head to Martinsville. Them tracks kind of similar in a way as far as the flat corners go, but of course they drive completely different.
Yeah, they both have a similar shape. Just one's a mile long, one's a half mile. So you're gonna be, I think drivers will be able to take away a little bit from the flatness of the track. I mean, you don't have much banking to lean on, but the speeds are just so immensely different. It'll be hard to kind of carry any information over, I think.
Ellie Musgrave out on track as well. She's trying to make her first race. I can't remember if she made the first race or not off the top of my head. I think she did. I can't remember. But I know she didn't make the last race that we had, but she is trying to make the field here tonight. Remember, only 24 drivers make this field. And then, of course, how many is it to transfer over from the feature?
We'll try to hurry it up. We made
4 originally. I think we're up to 6 transfer now.
Okay, 6 transfer now. So we'll be watching that here very soon. Once these guys go out and take the green flag here after this. So watching her right now, she currently is back to 6, 31.457, and she's just trying to get the feel of the car, just like most of these guys out here are trying to do it. Chris Larson jumps up to 3rd place, currently with a 31.276, and that number 113 Menard Chevrolet coming out of turn 4. Let's see. Does he move up? Does actually put down a better lap, but does not move up. A 31.083. So not too bad. Who else was out there? Noah, I believe I see. Noah Allison. Also out on track with number 24 late model, and he's currently in 4th with a 31.400. Of course, this is group qualifying. Usually 3 cars come out at a time onto the track, so that is one thing that we're seeing right now. So as Noah across the start-finish line, let's see if he can upgrade just a little bit. He does not with that. So as far as qualifying goes, do we expect to see times pick up over the run, or is it basically going to be 2 laps, and that's what we're going to see the fastest laps at?
this round.
Yeah, I don't know if tires heating up or anything like that really helps out over the course between the first lap or second lap. It looks like most drivers on their first lap so far have been their fast time. So I don't think there's too much of a difference. I think it's more just trying to hit your marks and get everything set up just right.
Comes another group out. Lyle Christensen, Thomas O'Hara, who else is out there? Brian Young coming out onto the track now. And Robbie Douglas. So we'll watch the 52 as he works down in a turn number 3 and 4. And at Top Golf late model as he works out of turn 4 to begin his green flag laps here at New Hampshire. It's actually right on board. And you can see what we can see here, 145 going into turn 1. You can see how much or how aggressive he is on the brakes, trying to get that car to rotate. And also, we're noticing a lot of rubber starting to lay down from inside the car. You can see the rubber laying down, especially in that little groove.
Yeah, it shows the line you want to be taking. Rubber obviously equals a little bit of grip, but it'll be interesting to see where the preferred racing line is throughout the event. Like I said, you're not going to want to run the yellow line down on the bottom like most short tracks we run. It's going to be a more tire conversation line, kind of drifting up, rolling through the corner, and we'll see the line change, I'm sure, quite a bit throughout the race.
Looks like Robbie Douglas actually jumps up to 3rd. So I'm sitting there, I was looking at the rubber, we just mentioned it, you talked about it too. With this hot weather, is that going to affect, where these drivers run going into the corner with that rubber laying down? You would think it would start to slick up a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to see what the drivers prefer, if they want to be running right on that rubber line they end up creating, or if they're going to want to run above it or below it. Or it's going to be whatever drivers feel that it's going to work best on conserving tires and also having good speed.
And for people that don't know, iRacing does have a dynamic track, so that definitely does matter. This track does tend to change quite a bit. New Hampshire is one of those tracks where, we see guys wanting to run that, I don't want to call it a third seam, but it kind of is a third lane, I guess, right up on that light gray compared to the dark black or whatever that is. That's where we usually see guys running there in the middle of the track. So it's going to be interesting to see if they have to switch lines and try to maybe find some cooler track to maybe get a better lap. So I'm wondering if it's better to go out first or last, to be honest, here in qualifying.
Yeah, it's honestly hard to say. I don't think the drivers even know themselves.
Yeah.
As it looks like Robbie Douglas spins it coming off of turn number 2 that time by. It just goes to show, I mean, you want to carry a lot of speed, but it's going to be a fine line that these drivers will be walking most of the race.
You see him backing it up right there in the instant replay as he goes around. He does keep it on the fence, I think, for the most part. I don't see no really bad damage, but he is able to get back rolling once again. But he is third, so either way, he's going to be okay. I believe he should make the field with that time, but of course we've still got some really fast drivers coming up, such as Dalton Collins, who I think might actually be lined up. Nope, not lined up yet. What is that? I see someone there. What up it is? Yes, Brandon Stokes. He's pretty quick. Running that pink car tonight. Of course, we're running breast cancer awareness collars on our overlays as well tonight. So Brandon coming out, it's a good looking car. I'm not gonna lie, I like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a good looking piece. I like that a lot. As Brandon currently sits 13th in points.
Yeah,
so
he's had kind of a rough going so far, to be honest.
Yeah, he has speed, so we'll be able to see. Well, maybe this mile-long track will be his calling. We can see him battling up top because he definitely is one of our fast drivers that we can see up top.
We'll see how he does here. This right here might give us an idea of if the times are going to pick up over the long part of qualifying or the first part. So this might be something you can definitely watch here as Brandon's working down the backstretch into turn 1. You can see this track looks big compared to these late model cars, compared to what we normally see them on, just like Colin mentioned a minute ago.
Yeah, it's wide turns, and you especially really feel it when we jump on those onboard views and they dive in those corners. They are never ending, and they're also really wide. As you see, Brandon Stokes jumps up to the 4th spot with a 31.032, and Al Smith Jr. takes over the top spot.
Yeah, great lap there with 30.932, so that's not bad at all. So we are looking like the track, you know, right now, as Mark Herzog also put down a 7th place lap, but right now it looks like a later not that bad. I thought it might actually hurt some of these guys, but right now it's definitely not.
Yeah, as we only see 2 drivers so far that have dropped down into the 32nd bracket. That's Daniel Dye and Al Smith Jr. So it'll be interesting to see if cars are able to get down to the 30.8s or even lower.
Yeah, that's definitely not a bad lap at all. As Herzog just put down his best lap, but still keeps him in 7th place. Another group getting ready to roll out here in qualifying. Currently, Brandon Stokes, Al Smith Jr., and Mark Herzog, and I think that is the only 3 out on track at this point. Here comes Junior trying to improve that lap a little bit. Of course, you can use this a little bit because we kind of talked about it. It looks like we're seeing a fast lap, probably the 1st or 2nd lap, so you can use a little bit of this qualifying to maybe get a little bit of practice in as well.
Yeah, any sort of laps you can turn on track help out. There's never too much practice, so it'll be interesting to see exactly how much drivers may or may not learn from this qualifying session to relate directly to their heat races as well as the main events later tonight.
Got some people, Rick Swaberly, waiting for his qualifying group, and good luck to Mark Brimkamp in the next group, so we'll be watching him as well. As you see, Al Smith Jr. looks like he may be shutting the car down. He does, so we will have our next group getting ready to roll. And we'll go over the watch mark as you see some of these guys at 23 to 65, 36 to 78. And here goes Mark with this group out onto the track. And he will start his green flag qualifying lap here from New Hampshire. It's also Keith Pierce. Who else is out there? Matt Johnson and Mark in 36. Well, here we go into turn 3. And Mark Brimkamp about to start the green flag qualifying for this group. He's actually running the Toyota nose, it looks like. Anyway, done in turn 1 and 2. Up inside, right where we've seen some of these things, he's looking pretty good here so far out of turn 2. This lap could be a really good one for him. Down the back stretch into turn 3. For anybody wanting to know, this is a fixed series, and These guys run every other Tuesdays, and of course they do have the K&N series, which we got to broadcast that the other night, or I got to broadcast it the other night, as Mark puts down his first lap, and currently not, so definitely not what he wanted. We'll jump back to 65 now. Keith Pierce jumps up to 6. We'll stay with him, see if he can improve this lap. But got to broadcast the K&N series the other night. That was a pretty solid race. It wasn't bad. We've seen Dalton Collins come down some pretty much really close racing between him, and I forgot to be honest off the top of my head who it was, but it was a really good racing. Dalton Collins quickly win, and of course he's right in here tonight. So Keith Pierce crossing the start-finish line, and see if he can improve. Nope, he stays there. Brimkamp jumps up to 8th position. Matt Johnson still back in 11th. We're marking the 36 as well. Going up in turn 3. Let's see if he can improve. Currently best lap at 31.228. Coming in here in this one. Working through turns 3 and 4 now. I don't know exactly where he's from. I was trying to find it, and I kind of lost it. I apologize, guys. Thought I had it up, but it's not. Let's see, who just jumped up? I believe Matt Johnson just jumped up. So we got Mark, Matt, and Mark again, 8th, 9th, and 10th in that group. And then Keith Pierce kind of leading them in this little group. And at number 23, Area 51, that's a good looking paint scheme.
Yeah, the all pink is not bad at all. And we've seen a few cars. Almost everyone is faster than their practice times. So that's some good laps that they're putting down right now. As Keith Pierce with a 31.082, his best time, sits him right there in 6th spot, which is not a bad place to be.
Not bad at all. And of course, you see Matt Johnson shutting his car off as well. He is the guy from Extreme Sim TV that broadcasts the K&N series. A great guy. I got to talk to him over the past couple days, and really interesting guy. So here comes Christopher Bone, points leader, coming out. Leading this group of cars, along with the 84, also Connor James. That was the 84 I saw rolling. Yeah, Stephen Chung. So we got some big guys coming out here. Current points leader. Rolling out. Christopher Bone, Kyle Edgar, and Stephen Chung are top 3. Of course, Christopher Bone and Stephen Chung qualifying in this group. So, and of course, Adam Johnson, we won't count him out as well, and Brian Cole. Out of turn 4, qualifying for these guys underway. We'll see how Christopher Bone does here as he drives down turn number 1 and 2, riding on board with him. Working off turn 2. You see how much that back end really wants to slide coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, that was a huge save he had coming off at turn number 3. He almost had that nose point in the inside wall. So it's good to be able to see him save that. And I don't think this will be his fastest lap, but we'll have to look and see how much of his tires he burned up on that save coming off of turn 2 last time by.
Well, he just jumped to the pole. Nope, no he didn't. Stephen Chun just took it away from him. A 30.8, and I lied. Adam Johnson jumps up. So there's your top 3 guys so far. Waiting on Brian Cole. He jumps up to 7th in this one. So we got some really fast guys in this group.
Yeah, and Bone had the nose pointed a lot better off on turn number 2 that time. So we'll see if he's able to pick up anything at all. So it just goes to show that Luce is fast.
Yeah, Adam Johnson has shut the car off, it appears. He might be rolling again. He may have been spun. I'm not sure if he shut it off or on the spun. Here comes call off turn 4. Let's see if he can improve. He does not. Adam Jocelyn, Stephen Chung, Christopher Bone, and then Brian Cole. And forgot about Connor James. Did not mention him. Currently in 6th place in that number 04 car. Red and white. And you see him right there as he crosses the start-finish line. Does he improve? He does not. So we haven't seen many guys actually hit the 30s, but we are starting to see a few of them. So far, the top 7 actually in the 30 mark. We go and actually check something. As I mentioned, qualifying underway right now. And then, of course, we got the heat race coming up here in just a few moments. And the feature race. These guys in 2 weeks will head to Lucas Oil, and they actually head to Iowa on November the 5th. So that's a few weeks away, of course, but Qualifying for this group about to end as Brian Cole works out of turn number 4, a little bit sideways coming off, a little bit of correcting he had to do, and does not improve his lap with that one. So yeah, we're definitely seeing our first 2 laps or so being the fastest.
Yeah, not much improvement on those later laps in the run, but the track is now starting to come to the drivers a lot better. As we see a lot more cars hitting those 30 marks. As a 30.806 from Adam Jocelyn, which is just flying around this mile-long track.
Something I have noticed in Dalton Collins is that the track temp has actually dropped 6 degrees since the qualifying has started taking place. So that could be definitely helping these guys as well.
Yeah, the cooler track does mean more grip, and grip usually equals speed because you're not sliding around as much. So as we see the next group of cars starting to roll out for their qualifying session.
Yeah, Michael Goddard comes in here in 24th in points. He only ran in week 2. He did not get to run in week 1. So I know Michael, he's a pretty solid driver. So let's see what he can do here in that number 37 car. FLF race car in front of the hill on that one. Also, Dalton Collins, Jade Franklin, Richard Swabberly also out on the track. You see Goddard putting down his out lap, so now he's starting his green flag lap, and you see Richard coming to the line as well. Michael, we'll stay with him for just a moment. We'll start swapping back and forth on these guys as Michael's going to look down in turn number 3 and see what he can do. Looking to be a 30.806. Very easy to make a mistake here too, to mess up his qualifying effort.
Yeah, like I said, like we were talking about earlier, these tracks are just so big. There's so much space, and you can miss your mark by just a few inches, and that'll change your entire run. As Goddard jumps all the way up to the 5th spot.
Dalton Collins jumps up to the pole by 2 100,000ths of a second over Jocelyn. Great lap there. Where did Richard jump up to? Jay's in 19. Richard jumps up to 16. So he's not out of the woods yet by any means. Richard, that is. Currently 16th, and we still got a few cars left to qualify. We'll have to wait and see if he can improve on this lap. 16. No, a little bit off his best time. There's Tyler as well, that number 97, currently 7th. He's definitely in the running now. Dalton Collins still on top of the board with the 804. Him and Jocelyn, that's a great front row right now. Very close times.
Yeah, just 2 1,000ths of a second. Wow, that's certainly
you ain't gonna get much closer.
Yeah, exactly.
For guys that is just joining us, Kyler Hope, we got him to tell everybody a little bit about himself. He's got a Facebook. I don't know if he's got a Twitter. I think you've got a Twitter. But I know he posted some awesome pictures the other day. And great job on it, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, certainly some spectacular racing up here for the Fall Classic in Yakima Speedway up here in Washington.
I was amazed because when I looked at the pictures, and I know qualifying is going on right now, but when I looked at your pictures, I was like, either he was in the right place at the right time to snap a lot of these pictures, because you got a lot of action shots when the wreck was happening, or you knew these guys were possibly going to cause something. It was so good to see them pictures. That's hard to do.
Yeah, part of it was, I know that coming out of turn 4 at Yakima, it's a pretty flat track, right. And coming off that corner, East Tennessee cars want to step out similar to here at New Hampshire, and it was a hot weekend, so cars were slipping and sliding, and I was waiting for something spectacular to happen right there with those barrels, and sure enough, it did.
I'm sorry, whenever you're doing pictures like that, is that something you watching practice to kind of have an idea, where the action could actually happen at?
I mean, I kind of look around. I tend to know what the track tends to do and where the trouble spots are from the racetrack to racetrack, and I kind of just roll throughout the day, and if I start to see a trouble spot that is more and more consistent, I'll tend to hang out that area. Also, I usually roam around most of the track all weekend, so I kind of get shots from every location, and sometimes luck finds its way, and I get shots like those from this weekend.
That's actually really cool. So you don't actually see that often, so that's pretty neat to hear that kind of perspective, because I've always wondered myself how how does action shots happen unless you're just more right place, right time, or is it a certain place you watch on track? So that's pretty cool to hear that perspective. So we're waiting on some more drivers to go out right now. You see Michael Goddard sitting at the end of the pit road. He has already qualified. So waiting for, I don't know how many more drivers we actually got. Kyler Edgar just is now lining up in the 47. Actually, Michael Goddard going back out. I thought he already qualified. Maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, he is going back out, as you see right here. Kyle Edgar rolling out as well. Of course, he comes in here tied for the points lead as well. Picked up 51 points last week, so a great job for him on that. Who else is out there? Joe Lawrence and Cody Brinson, both of them guys, somebody to watch as well, as the 47 going to start his lap here. This is right on board.
Yeah, with the cooler track temperatures they have right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Edgar jump up because he shows has had some speed, and he was one of the faster guys in practice earlier.
Yeah, so a lot more grip possibly for him compared to what he had in practice too. So this could be a good lap for him. As gets a little swirly coming off turn 2, and we've seen already that usually means fast, as we've seen so far in qualifying.
Yeah, we saw Bone quite sideways off turn number 2, but he jumped way up top. So Luce is fast at this track.
And here comes Kyle Edgar, as well as some other guys across the finish. And there you go, a 7.52 with a 7.80 for Cody Brinson. Some great laps.
And Joe Lawrence jumps up to the top spot with a 37.17.
Wow. I think that might be a little bit of a surprise for some people. Great lap. I don't know exactly what his practice time was.
He was in the 30.9 range, so he was fast, but he picked up quite a lot of speed.
Yeah, over 2 tenths. Wow. And also, I noticed something coming onto the track. The sun not shining really that bright in turn 2 right now, or turn 3 and 4. I mean, so a little bit of cloud cover coming over. This track continuing to drop temperature. We are down to 118 degrees. We start off at 126. So right now, and let's see if that cloud's still there in turn 3 as we watch Lawrence going into 30. Yeah, there's still a little bit of cloud cover. It ain't as much as what it was, I thought, but so far Joe Lawrence, Kyle Edgar, Cody Brinson has went down pit road. Some damage on that car, but still 3rd place. I think he's going to be okay. How many guys we got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got guys like Joshua Hart, Matt Pollard, Andrew Wooten, Matt Eddy. There's still some really fast guys still to qualify.
Yeah, as fast as a 7.17 is, I still wouldn't be surprised to see it fall.
Yeah, and that'd be pretty impressive if we see somebody hit the 5s. I think that right there would surprise a lot of people. Which I don't know what the fastest time was in practice exactly. I cannot remember what it was.
I don't remember anyone hitting the 7s in practice. I think the fastest was around the high 8s. So
that's definitely, you see the track is definitely cooling off with these faster lap times. Only one car out on the track right now. Joe Lawrence out there by himself. Probably just getting a little bit of practice in, like we mentioned, as he works through turns 3 and 4. And we're setting up the next group of cars. Matt Eddy about to roll. Andrew Wooten. Colin Allman, I think.
And James Milk back there, I think, as well, is up there.
Yep, that's who it is. And he's actually going to be able to bring him out. I seen him, but I didn't want to butcher that name.
Yeah, leave that to me, thanks.
Yeah, it was, that's one that, Tennessee, we can get with stuff like that. So we're waiting on him to come down as Joe Lawrence qualifying is done. As the rest of these guys get ready to head out, you see right here on your screen. Who is that? The 87, Matt Eddy. Pretty good looking paint scheme on his car as well. Different. Now here we go. Alvin, Eddy, Wooten, and yep.
And I'm gonna go with Milbacher. I'll call it that.
Milbacher, I think is how. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get some messages from him later on, telling us how wrong we are. But
Colin Allman working out turn 4. So, is this another thing you've got to worry about when you're qualifying? We see Colin right now up in front, but right behind him is James Well. Are you a little bit worried about that because these guys came out pretty close together? You usually want to space out just a little bit.
Yeah, interesting to see how close Milbacher is, but personally, I would want some space. I don't know how much it's going to mess up his lap, but maybe he's just planning on following the 67 through.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any type of arrow push here as well.
Yeah, he could be picking up maybe a little bit of a drop down the front straightaways. I'm sure there's some, but I don't know if he's just quite close enough to get anything or not.
Colin Allman, by the way, just put on a flyer, a 30.561. And then Andrew Wooten a 6.76. So you definitely see the time definitely picking up.
Yeah, Milbacher's right there in 5th with a 30.779, tied with Cody Brinson.
Wow. Here comes Matt Eddy. Let's see what he can do. He comes in here. Oh, he definitely messed up that corner. Coming in here. Don't know if Matt Eddy actually ran a race this season in this late model of the series. I'm a lot. He's actually 8th right now in points. So he has. I don't know why I thought he didn't. Didn't have a ton of points in week 1, but picked up quite a bit, or a few in week 2. So we'll see if he can continue to improve. But right now, 18th, and that right there, not going to lock him in for sure. He needs to probably try to get a little bit more out of that car, and I'm sure he knows it. You kind of see the back end won't step out right there and into the wall, so that's going to end his qualifying hopes. Now it's just basically got to hope that that's enough. I don't know. There's still quite a few fast guys left to run. And of course, we got the heat race coming up here very soon, and that heat race is going to be very important. And you said it was 6 guys that transferred now?
I believe that's what we're up to, is 6 transfer instead of 4.
Okay. So that's going to be very interesting as well, because usually that's when we start seeing. That's when we see some of the best racing is in the heat races like that.
Yeah, and I just got confirmation it is 6 that do transfer.
So the 61 jumps up to 5th. With 32.615, not a bad lap, and that is that group in qualifying. So next up, Leslie Stratton rolling out with Casey Tillman, Joshua Hart as well. This right here could be a pretty solid group.
I believe Matt Pollard as well in the 90s rolling out.
Yep. And you see Matt rolling out in that Mopar number 90 car. So the first one going to be putting a lap down is Leslie Stratton in that 07. So we'll see what he can do as he works into turn 3 and 4. Of course, the weather we started out in practice was 126 degrees. It has dropped to 117 now. So that's continuing to cool the track down. So these last couple guys may have a little bit better chance of putting that car on the pole. As we see Leslie working out of turn 2. I don't know if he got the wall or not. It's going to be close. Remember, if you do hit the wall, it does not count that lap here in iRacing. So we'll see if Leslie jumps up. Either way, we'll have to wait and see as he works out of turn 4. Across the start-finish line. And does it move him up? No, actually, I only picked up one spot. Let's see. Joshua Hart jumped up to 16th. That's going to be enough to get him in. Let's see. Casey Tillman. 92. Went kind of wide there in 3 and 4. We're seeing that some of these cars actually push up quite a bit right now.
Yeah, and like we were talking about earlier, it's just going to be tricky hitting those marks every single time, as they do have 60 laps later on. So it's going to be a lot of slip and slide on trying to keep the rear end underneath you, as well as tire conservation.
You know, right now, Joshua Hart is the only one really safe in 11th place. These guys, these other guys, are kind of surprised Matt Pollard. 31st right now. That's kind of surprising, I think, for him. As you see him working through turns 3 and 4 now. Some of these other guys, Casey Tillman's probably a little bit upset with his lap, as well as Leslie. All 3 of these guys probably not happy with their laps at the moment.
And from my sheet, it says that Casey Tillman did not get any practice in, so that could prove detrimental for his
That's got to be tough too, because you're coming in here without any practice on a place that's already tough. That's definitely can make you have a bad night.
Yeah, it's not ideal at all.
You see him cross the start-finish line, and he jumps up to 19th with that lap, but he's definitely in right now. But there's still some other guys left to qualify, so we'll have to watch and see if he gets in. That's going to be pretty close. Everybody else right now, Leslie Stratton and Matt Pollard, both not happy. Of course, we mentioned Joshua Hart. He was good in this session anyway. Let's see if any of these guys jump up a little bit more. I don't think they're going to. Nope, they do not. As Leslie cutting it off. And next up, there's anybody else out there? Or is that it? Waiting to see. I think we got a couple more guys left to go. I think Richard Orr, Blake Brown, and Keith Marios. I think say his name. Probably not, but I think they're left to qualify. We're waiting to see though.
Yeah, I do not see either of them on the pit road, so
Yep,
I believe it's going to be wrapping up qualifying for us.
So there you go. Qualifying is official. As of course we do have an invert, by the way, in the main race. I think it's the 6 drivers, I believe, inverted. But in this race, it is a heat race, 20 laps. As you see Matt Eddy up in that second or first row. Of course, he's going to be starting. Starting this out, I can't tell. Still waiting on a couple of guys.
I believe it's going to be Casey Tillman and Matt Eddy on the front row for that B main.
So this right here is going to be a pretty interesting B main, because there's some fast guys in this B main race that just didn't qualify well. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can make it through. Of course, 6 do invert, but there is 21 drivers trying to make it, and they only got 20 laps to do so. So the last thing you want to have is a caution, and yeah, you can.
Yeah, this B main is definitely going to be something to watch. I mean, these drivers are going to be sliding all over the place, and they're going to be fighting for those top 6 spots to see what exactly they can do to transfer on to that main event.
For sure. So you see that 92 waiting on the Ford Mustang pace car to roll here. As we continue to wait. 21 drivers set to make the B main race, and only 6 will advance. I think should be good. I think we're just waiting on make calls. There's a couple of cars that was not in here, so.
And joining us is your fast time now. Colin, you got a copy?
All in all, got me. Don't know if he's there.
We'll check back with him in a little bit.
That didn't work out great. I'm sure he's probably taking a break. Of course, he's not in this feature or the heat race, so probably getting up a little bit, walking around or something before his race will begin.
Yeah, don't blame him. He wants to be probably fully rested and ready for that main event, because it's going to be a long 60 laps.
Yeah, it really is. And one thing, guys, keep in mind, the last thing you want this heat race is yellows, because that is basically going to take your shot away, especially if you're towards the back end or if you're involved in that yellow. See how it plays out, though. As we got 21 cars trying to make the 6-car, I guess we're going to say the 6-car feature we'll have, or 6 cars in the transfer feature. Right now, the 6-car on that is Keith Pearson at 65, which is kind of surprising. Keith is usually pretty quick, so we'll see how he does here.
Yeah, we do have a lot of fast cars in this B main, so it's gonna be sad to say bye to some of these really fast drivers as we get set for this B main, and looks like they're getting ready to take the green flag this time by.
Eddie laid really far back there. I'm not sure if he had trouble seeing the inside to see where the 92 goes, but I think he's gonna be okay. But oh, there's somebody that gets a shot. The 27, Robbie Douglas gets a shot. Kind of caught in the middle as chaos is going to break loose as we got cars spinning around all over the place. on the backstretch. Caution flag not coming out, and there it is, as multiple cars involved in this one. And I don't know where to even begin to diagnose this one out.
Yeah, it was exactly what you said. All sorts of chaos. Saw the 28 of Casey around, a few other cars. It's definitely not where you want to put yourself in the B main.
Yeah, and that's one way to get taken out early. And you see the 83 right there, Brian Young. He's hard damage there. Man, these races are so tough because you're going for everything you got, and on a place like this, and I'm not, putting anybody down, you don't know when people's going to lift. You haven't really been out there a ton with these certain guys or something. So some guys run right to the back of them just because you don't exactly know their racing style or anything like that. So it does cause problems, especially at a place like a flat track like this.
Exactly, yeah. It's a lot of these drivers' first time around other cars at this place, so trying to play nice is gonna be hard to see, and I feel like it's gonna be a common theme for these B mains throughout the year is a lot of carnage, a lot of chaos.
See here reading some chat. Brandon Stokes, people talking to him, say good luck and go Brandon Stokes. Let's see, good luck Brian Cole. Let's see, that's all I thought for that one. Looking over at the Facebook group, Robin Castle. Yeah, actually, that is kind of Robin. Robin Castle not in this race tonight, so that's going to hurt him in some points because he comes in here. He was pretty solid inside the top 5, or he was actually 5th. I apologize. So he was 3 points back from first, so definitely not great, but still a long season. You never know what could happen.
Exactly, yeah. Another name we don't see is our 7th place driver, Andrew Mordecai. He's not here tonight as well. So two drivers inside the top 10, not in this event tonight.
So that's definitely changing some things up. Right now, by the way, right here is your cutoff driver, Richard 38 right there. Currently running right in front of Robert Douglas. Douglas got hit pretty hard on that restart. I don't see any damage on the car. Something you got to watch out for is these restarts tend to stack up, especially in a place like this that Horty affected. Another thing is wheel spin. I'm not sure if we're going to have that, but if we get a long green flag run at some point tonight, wheel spin could it become an issue?
Yeah, I mean, even in these 20 laps for this race, it's going to be tire conservation, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more cars slipping and sliding, especially coming off of 2 and 4 later on in this B main.
Yeah, so that's definitely something we got to watch out for. Picking up rubber, spinning the tires on restarts, or even coming off the corners where, like we've seen a couple times, just in that one wreck, cars sliding around all over the place. So we'll see. Pace lights, I believe, get ready to go back out. We do have one driver of Brian Young is officially out of the race, so unfortunately he's not going to be able to make the race. But we're starting to see some cars that was a little bit further back. Ellie Musgrave picked up a ton of spots there on that. She actually started back in 18, picked up 4 spots because of that wreck, and she was able to dodge it.
Yeah, I was going to mention her. She was able to make it through cleanly, and I mean, I know Ellie personally. She races up here at Evergreen Speedway in our mini stocks as well as our street stock division. So it's I mean, I have a little bit of bias towards her just because she's
Right.
a hometown girl, but. It's good to see her make it through that wreck, and hopefully she can weasel her way up there into the 6th spot and transfer her way through the A main.
The way these races go, man, you and I both know you really never know who's going to win these things.
Yeah, it's races of survival for the most part.
Yeah, basically, like this is the NASCAR version with so many cars, late models of Talladega. This is the late model version of it because it is such a bigger track compared to what these guys are used to running to. So even though you don't go full throttle by any means. Things tend to stack up, and usually when it stacks up, it just takes a lot of people out.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see some big wrecks later on in the main event when we get 26 cars we're starting later on. So it's gonna be a fun one to watch.
It's crazy to think about. We almost started the same amount of cars that we're going to start in the feature race. Green flag is out.
And Case Tillman, Matt Eddy still side by side, going down into turn number 1. Looks like that inside line is going to be the preferred line early on in this B main. They're looking maybe to go 3 wide back with the 65 of Keith Pierce for that 3rd and 4th spot.
That's pretty interesting as some cars beating and banging a little bit further back. Don't think anybody's surprised by that. Right here. Oh, the 38 hard into the wall. Yep, upside down, and no cautions will come out. He did not flip all the way, and there's the caution. Also, the 23 of Matt Johnson goes around that. I know he definitely don't like that. The 38 went for a wild ride. And, don't know what happened to Johnson. Let's see. He is the one that actually got in the back, I think, in the 38 a little bit. And talked to Johnson before the race, as I mentioned, and, he said that he literally hates this place, and you can probably see why. As cars coming off the road.
Yeah, the rest of the field did a great job to avoid the spinning 23s. You see in that replay, as the 38, like you said, almost went up and over his tricky track, and that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. Is the drivers just don't know when the other cars will be checking up, and 23 just that little bit of contact in the back 38 is going to send them in sideways. And 57 also got a piece of that. I'm trying to find the name on Mark Herzog. He also got a little piece of that as well. So all sorts of carnage.
I got to jump back a little bit because I know you're not biased or anything, but Elliott Musgrave was showing down in the 10th position. So she's picked up 8 spots since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, and I mean, those young drivers, just being able to stay out of trouble and work their way up. I mean, it's great to see her working her way up, but she's gained already 8 positions in these
honestly,
few laps.
You know, she drives short tracks, you know, and she does have wreck avoidance. She does race in real life, so you got to give it to her. I mean, she's done exactly what she needs to do. I think she might be actually an 11, but still, she's picked up spots. So it definitely helps if you do have a little bit of real life experience and coming on here, even though, you know, it's definitely not real life by any means, but hey, it does help with the reflexes and stuff like that you can use in real life.
Exactly, that's the biggest part, is just seeing those lines and be able to kind of predict where the cars are going to end up wrecking to, you know, as unpredictable as that can be. You kind of get the feel for it, so it's gonna be interesting to see. As we have a question from Kyle Edgar on our YouTube page asking what we think about the points battle and a tie for the lead right now.
Oh, it's close, and we kind of hit on it a little bit earlier. They're tied right now. I don't know if this is the race that's going to make or break the points by any means because we're only on week 3. But if you go look at some of these other tracks, once we hit Martinsville, South Boston, if the points are really still like that, that's where we're really going to see make or break races.
Exactly, yeah. It's these early few weeks, in my opinion, are going to be just kind of keeping your nose clean, gain some points, and put yourself in a good spot later on down the season. You know, try to stay out of those wrecks and just stay consistent throughout the year.
Yeah, because we go to a big track, or another, I don't want to say big track, but a fairly bigger track. We go to Richmond, which is kind of big for these cars, let's be honest. I mean, it's a little over half a mile. But that's a race that really stands out because, to me, that is one of the races where it can take you out completely because you are carrying a little bit more speed. If you hit that wall there, it usually hurts you pretty bad. Another race that really stands out is South Boston, because it is such a short track, super short, super aggressive track, let's be honest. That is a track that could make or break somebody's season as well, possibly.
Yeah, I think the main turning point is going to be that Irwindale 100 lap race, the third to last race of the season. I think that's where we're going to see the points battle really take shape, and we'll be able to give our pretty much top 5 drivers have a chance at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely like you mentioned, you basically got to keep yourself in it. To be honest, to make it that far. But gotta give them both credit, no matter what, or the whole top 5 credit for keeping that point that close. Cause that's pretty tough to do, even after 2 races.
Exactly, yeah, 3 points between your top 5. And I also got another question asking when the main event is, and that'll be following the B feature. So once we finish these next 10 laps in the B feature, we'll start getting drivers lined up for that main event, 60 laps here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, you've got 6 drivers making the transfer over from this race to that race. And we've seen guys, by the way, actually come from the back to finish good in the feature races. So don't count these guys out by any means.
Exactly, yeah, these 60 laps are going to be big, as right now Robbie Douglas holds that last transfer spot as we are coming to the green flag right now.
There's a little bit of a stack up, kind of an accordion effect happening right there, and I don't know who that is back there. Somebody did not get going or miss the shift. This may bring out another caution. It does. And somebody, I don't know who it was. It was a Mopar car, the 90 car, I believe. Matt Pollard, I think he missed the shift. Something happened. Let's see if we can ride on board and listen. Here he comes to the green flag.
Yeah, it looks like you called her just right. Might have missed a shift and backed up that rest of that outside line.
Wow. So yeah, definitely stacked up. That's one place where, like we mentioned, all short tracks, if you miss a shift, it usually causes problems.
Yeah, I believe we talked about it on week 1. I was down at the Winter Showdown in Kern County, and we had a 28 car late model pileup.
I bet it took a while to clean the track off that.
Yeah, it was a junkyard on front straight away. We had names like Derek Kraus, Ty Majeski involved. I mean, these are no jokes that were involved in that wreck, and it was a tough way to end that race.
Like that Martinsville race the other night. I watched it. I was pulling for Peyton Sellers and Dustin Rumley. Only reason why I was pulling for Dustin Rumley because I got to actually paint his car on there, so that's pretty cool. But that race was so interesting, man, and it kind of makes me think of a race like this because we've seen the 88 of Josh Berry get out front and just dominate. Let's just be honest, he dominated. But that goes to show you how important it is to start up front in these races because when he started up there, he never went back.
Yeah, this past weekend, we had Randy Marshall Jr. at the Yakima Speedway. He worked his way up through, I believe I want to say he started 7th or 8th. So not quite up front. Actually, it might have been even outside that. And he drove his way up, took over the lead, and did not look back. I want to say he was leading by lap 25, and he led the last 175 laps. He was in a league of his own this weekend, and just kind of just goes to show that when you're running good, you're running good.
And like we mentioned, a few moments ago, these guys in this heat race, we've seen. I can't remember who it was last time I broadcasted these guys. One of them guys, I cannot remember off the top of my head who it was, but he started like last in the feature race, but he finished inside the top 5, I believe, or 6 or something. So you never know. I mean, some of these guys may learn something here in this heat race that may actually transfer over to that feature race.
Yeah, this B main is no slack. So any of these drivers that transfer out, I would not be surprised to see them battling their way up through and be in the top 10 around lap 20, 30, 40.
So here we go. Right now, Keith Pierce is on the cut line in 6th. Robbie Douglas at his inside. We are about to go back to green. This is going to be pretty much a shootout now because we've had a caution. So as pitch car works off turn 4, the lights should go off. Matt Eddy, yeah, he is still leader. I wonder if he's going to choose the outside. We've seen the 92 choose the outside, and last time it didn't really work.
Yeah, it's hard to say right now. I mean, we haven't really had a good indicator on if the inside or outside lane is going to be preferred or not when it comes to the A main. The inside line has been able to work for the most part, but that outside line, if you get good runoff, then you can take the lead going down to turn number 3.
Looking back to the field, you can see Keith Pierce lining up behind him will be Mark Brimkamp and Mark Herzog, and then Chris Larson, Ellie Musgrave, Noah Allison in 11th, Matt Pollard in 12th. So we'll have to wait and see because honestly, 12th place, you never know. You may still be able to get into this thing if something happens. We've seen it, somebody misses a shift, you just never really know.
Exactly, yeah. It's when on these short tracks, even though it's a mile-long track, still considered a short track. Anything can happen, and we're not counting out in these last 5, coming 4 laps to go.
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx none of the leaders, but even the slightest contact, could put somebody in the back into the big race. So we'll have to wait and see. Pace lights should go off this time. I thought they was going to go off last time. They have yet to go off. We'll wait and see if they go off this time. Once again, I want to give a shout out real fast to the guy that made our cameras tonight. I know he's watching, Shane Miller. Thank you for making the cameras. So far, I'm enjoying them. First night we've got to meet them here. So pace lights are off. As we wait, we're going to have about 4 laps to go. We'll look at your race summary so far. 3 lead changes. This one. Working on the back stretch at 54, and Stephen Mastro, Brandon Stokes in 4th. Keith Pierce, that's where we really got to watch. We got to watch the 27 and 65. That is the biggest or most important battle on the track because that is a transfer spot.
Yeah, and we got Mark Bremkamp and Mark Herzog right there on the next row. And either one of those drivers, I'm sure, are hungry enough to make some moves happen as we are have just 4 laps to go coming by.
Yeah, so especially will they use the bumper if you're behind them. We'll find out. Pace car is in. Green flag is back up in the air. We'll jump back a little bit further with this 6th place position battle. See if they can hold it.
And Bremcap looking on the inside of Keith Pierce for that final transfer spot. They're going to be side by side coming off turn number 3.
Yeah, looks like 78. Able to grab it right now. Here comes the 78. Once again, Bremcap looks to the outside of the 27. So this is going to put Robbie Douglas possibly. Oh, this could get ugly. 3 wide, 4 wide, almost out of turn 4. This is never going to work. No way. There they go to the inside, back up across the track. Around they go. Where's everybody going to finish? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see because some guys might actually be in front when the caution waves. We've got to wait and see. But I believe Clark Bremcamp may have got in.
Yeah, and they were wrecking as far down as turn number 1 as Matt Pullard was still spinning going into 1. Made some more contact with another driver, but all sorts of carnage down the front straightaway.
There you see the wreck happening behind it with Matt Pullard right there. You see him getting turned around. The question is going to be, where does everybody line up? It looks like it may be set now. Matt Eddy, Sean Mastro, Casey Tillman, Brandon Stokes, Robbie Douglas, and Matt Bremcamp. I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of pulling for Ellie because I knew she was a local driver for you, so I was kind of pulling for her a little bit, hoping she'd get in.
Yeah, she just almost couldn't get through that last wreck. She was almost able to sneak by on the outside, but unfortunately that's where the wreck ended up coming on. That front straightaway is tight. You got the inside wall and outside wall, so not much room to go.
I was kind of pulling for her. I wanted to see her make it rain because I know she's been in here every week, so I was hoping to see her make it. Blue. White flag gonna be out this time? And we'll transfer over to the feature race right here in just a second. I believe these guys do have a 5-minute warm-up, so once that does happen, we will take a quick break. Possibly anyway. Might try to get Colin back in here if you want to as well.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he's up to after we finish up this B main.
I believe they do have an invert. I think the top 6 invert, so not going to be starting on the pole, I don't think, but still, he's definitely fast enough to get back up there.
Yeah, any 6 of these cars, Matt Eddy, Steven Maestro, Casey Tillman, Brandon Stokes, Robbie Douglas, and Mark Bremcamp are all very fast drivers, and wouldn't be surprised to hear any of those names later up front in the top 5 or 10 battling out.
Yeah. So here comes the pace car off turn 4, and Matt Eddy is going to win the B main race here from Hampshire and transfer over, as well as top 6 in this one, as they work off turn 4 across the start and finish line, and that's going to wrap up the B main here from Hampshire for Western Super Series. So there we go. Now that's going to close down once everybody crosses the line. Here's a look at your quick results from that. There you go. There you go. So do we want to try to bring him in, or are we going to let him get a little bit of practice? Let's see.
Let's wait till they roll off, then we'll talk to him right before the main event.
That works. Alright, so we'll take a quick break, guys, and get right back. Right now, you are watching the warm-up. Never mind, I lied there. I'm going to skip the warm-up, so we're not going nowhere. So no warm-up for these guys, as we are set to go green here now, as gridding has begun to take place. As that goes. So Colin Almond, as we mentioned, or Almond, going to be starting in 6th place, but he won the provisional pole, but of course after the invert, 6 go back. So here's a look at your grid as it goes by. Joe, Lawrence, and Kyle Eckler are going to be starting right in the middle as well. They did not invert; it was just the 1st and 3rd rows, pretty much. So that's going to give the pole over to the 98, I believe. It gives it over to 98. I believe that's 98 up there, ain't it? 98 and 61. Yeah.
I believe that is the 98 up on the inside.
Okay. So we're still waiting on a couple other guys, I think. Oh, maybe they do got the pole. Anyway, as you look at the rest of your grid goes by, there you go. Stephen Chuck, Christopher Ball currently 1 and 2 in points as we're actually rolling already. That's a quick grid. I like that.
These guys are on it. They're ready to go 60 laps here in New Hampshire.
No more sitting around for the B main. And let me ask you a question. I know that you've been around racing for a long time now. That's got to be kind of frustrating, I guess, if you already transferred over. Is it frustrating? You know, you're sitting there watching and waiting. You got to kind of be impatient with it, I guess.
Yeah, it could throw you out of your groove a little bit. It'd be interesting to see those 6 guys that just got done with their 20 laps. That they might be a little bit more in tone, ready to go. And when they hop right into this A main, they just got fresh out of 20 more laps, and now they're ready to go 60 more. So compared to these drivers that have been sitting the last 20, 30 minutes, it could be a little bit different.
Sure. So here we go. The main race getting ready to roll here from New Hampshire. 60 laps, 60 miles from New Hampshire. Pace car right now about to drop in. Does. There it goes. And green flag is out, and we got a big checkup. And actually, it is not out. That was a weird start right there up front. So here we go. Done in turn 1. Keep in mind, this could be a crazy few laps here, guys. As the 47 pushes up, battle up front for the lead.
So far, everyone in the back playing nice as we are. Looks like we'll be getting a complete lap done right here.
Cody Brinson, and I see that it says 98 on his car for the run a couple of numbers, but he crossed the start-finish line and he does lead the first lap.
Yeah, on our screen it's actually number 13, but he's running number 98 on screen as 61 of Milbacher looking to the inside, going down the back straightaways. It's a tight 4-car battle. You can throw a blanket over him.
Going down into turn 3, Milbacher right now going to drop it in pretty deep, sliding up, pushing the 90 or Cody Brinson into the wall. 3 wide for the lead coming out of 4.
Tough break for Brinson. Like you said, he almost made contact with the wall, side wall. He might have. As going down into the corner, looks like Milbacher will lead that lap and take over the lead solely over the 11 of Joe Lawrence.
Milbacher being super aggressive early on in this one. He is able to stretch that lead out by about a half a car length now over the 11 of Joe Lawrence, working down into turn 3. Pretty much single file up front for the time being. We can jump back a little bit as you see Christopher Bone working underneath Andrew Wood in the 22 coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, tight battle back there. They're the first battle side by side, but the 67 running in 3rd place, that is Colin Allman, your fast time. He is working his way up, started 6th, now up to 3rd as he puts pressure on Joe Lawrence in that 11 going out of turn number 2.
Yeah, Allman set the provisional pole, of course, after the invert had to start in 6th place as he works down the backstretch here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway going into turn 3. He really rolls that corner going in good. Oh! A little bit of lockup, and 11 spins to the inside. No caution comes out because he actually spun down into the grass. So caution not out on track for Joe Lawrence. We'll see if it waves. It does not. He's going to have a little bit. He's going to have to be patient now. Right now, by the way, we're seeing James Millenbacher kind of being a little aggressive, but sometimes that's what you got to do to stay out front.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he burns up his tires or not, and how much tire competition he really is doing. If the rest of the field's just kind of holding back and running right now, trying to get some laps under their belts before they start putting on pressure. But Colin Allman, he dropped back to 6th spot after that contact.
Yeah, 6th right now, just now taking 6th away from Dalton Collins. These guys nose to nose going into turn 3. But I was looking at Colin right before that happened. He really rolls in really nice.
Yeah, he rolls in deep. I don't think he's expecting the 11 to check up as much as he did, and it's a tough break for Joe Lawrence's. Like we talked about earlier in the B main, it's just these cars don't know exactly. The drivers don't know exactly when the others are going to be checking up going into these corners, and it's going to cause for some contact like that. And a little bit of contact with the 95 of Dalton and the 67 of Colin.
Out of turn 4, these guys being a little bit of aggressive. They kind of know it's still early. You can kind of tell a difference in this one in the B main because, of course, the guys in the B main were basically going everything they can. They're showing a little bit of patience here early in this one, but there's still some aggressiveness being shown as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for these drivers is trying to get to know each other right now, and We still got quite a few laps remaining, so don't want to do anything that'll take you out of the running for this main event win.
Yeah, this is the biggest field I want to mention that we have had all season long. We're a full field here once again. We've been a full field every week, but this is the most drivers we've had come out. And we sent over 20 or 18 drivers, I think, home or something like that. So it's a pretty good sized field here.
Yeah, it's definitely a big entry list, and we got some great drivers that showed up this week, and I feel like it's just going to continue to grow. I mean, it's a great series put on by Richard, and the Western Super Series is just a fun one to watch.
Yeah, right now, Colin Allman and Dalton Collins really can't get away from each other as they work out of turn 4. And you see Allman stretching it a little bit there, and he does clear the 95. Right now, working on Christopher Bowen, and that's going to be a tough position to try to get away.
Yeah, and we see Bone kind of roll up in the corner a lot more than the drivers behind him. They really started to this back bumper. I think Bone is trying to play conservative and be patient and not waste up all of his tires. And I'm worried to see how much Dalton Collins, how much tires he used up on the inside of who was he on the inside of earlier? Colin Allman, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see the difference between times later on between Allman, who was kind of being able to run his line and not use up his tires on the inside line as much as Dalton Collins was.
And here is Dalton Collins right now battling with Daniel Dye. We talked to Dye last week. Dye trying to run down. This is for 8th place. Dye was a really great driver last week. Got involved in the wreck late in that one, unfortunately, but still not a bad night for him as he's across the start-finish line.
And back up, it is Colin Allman and Christopher Bone side by side for that 5th position as they go into rolling out of turn number 2.
So how do you set up a pass here, especially on the longer runs? We know these cars are going to be slipping and sliding. How do you go about trying to set up a pass on a tight racetrack?
I'll be following the driver in front of you, kind of see where you're faster, where they're faster, and kind of just pick your point. I mean, you know where you're strong, you know where you can get the good drive off. Hopefully you don't want to be diving it in there, using up too much of your rubber early on. And looks like Colin Allman's trying to complete that pass, but Bowen's just getting some good drive off the corner.
I'm sitting here looking at some of the chat. Daniel Dye, by the way, has a habit of chatting, probably when he shouldn't be. Like, I noticed that last week. He got a bad habit. Especially at a call sheet, he'll start just communicating in the chat quite a bit. But, hey, whatever works. Colin Allman has worked his way back to 5th, as we just heard from Tyler. Now he's trying to run down 4th. Remember, he was up in 3rd, and he kind of locked them tires up. I'm wondering if that hurt him at all. Right now, he's actually running faster times than anybody right now.
Yeah, he's looking good as he's trying to run down Cody Brinson and Edgar, who are all running a pretty tight pack for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So it's going to be interesting to see how well Colin is able to work through these strong drivers and how much of his tires he's going to use up doing so, as we just have 13 laps complete.
So it's interesting because I'm watching Colin right now compared to these 3 guys that's in front of him. All 3 of these guys that's up in front of him rolling in a little bit higher, and then you see the 67 kind of dive it down earlier than the 3 guys, and he does close up quite a bit when he does that.
Yeah, I want to say that Wooten, Brinson, and Edgar are just trying to ride out and not use up all their equipment. It'll be interesting to see if Colin is just pushing his tires hard and if he's wearing them up.
Yeah, you see him working off turn 4 right now. Here comes Andrew Wooten, maybe trying to set up a pass on Cody Brinson. Not going to be able to get it there yet. Let's jump back a little bit, back to 15th. Brian Cole trying to make a pass right now on Connor James working out of turn 2, and kind of interesting, we got a wreck happening up in front. Not sure who this was. Jade
34. Jade Franklin
and Daniel
spun.
Not sure. The 95 mare came up a little bit. Dalton Collins, slid up a little bit, making contact. And then Daniel Dye also was involved somewhere in this, and I think he may have had help as well for the 84. Yep. Slight contact coming out of turn 2. So we had 2 separate incidences actually in this one with Daniel Dye and Jade Franklin, and both of them guys were running pretty decent, to be honest.
Yeah, tough break for both those drivers running mid-pack, so they'll have to be fighting it out as, 95 comes up into the 34, spins them out. It's just a tough break going on. Hard racing.
Keep in mind, guys, for people that might not be or might not be used to seeing these guys running who are not allowed to take tires. So it's definitely going to cause problems here later in this race.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of slipping and sliding later on as we have 16, now 17 laps complete of 60. So we're almost a third of the way there. It'll be interesting to see on this restart. We got Milbacher. He was kind of checking out. Don't know how much of his equipment he was using up, but he definitely had quite a decent lead on second through fifth. We're all running nose to tail.
Yeah, and I'm curious about Colin Almond in the fifth place. Does this caution help him or hurt him?
It's interesting to see. He had good early on speed as well as late run speed in that first 17 lap run. Don't really know if he was using up a lot of his equipment or not. We'll be able to tell here on this restart if he has anything left, or if he already used all of it up, which would not be good. He's still have over 40 laps left.
I'm looking right now at some of the guys that transferred over. Mark Burnkamp in 14. So that's one thing we kind of talked about. You can kind of see some of these guys, just because they don't really do that great in the original qualifying to be main, don't mean they're not going to do decent in the feature race. So we're seeing that happen.
Yeah, I mean, some drivers aren't good qualifiers, but they're good racers. So sometimes that B main can be a savior for them. So if we didn't have that, we want to see a couple of these pretty fast cars and some great racers up in this mix.
Yeah, we are starting to double up, like you mentioned. Some guys just can't hot lap. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's not some guys think. They're better at adjusting to the race pace, and you got to do that. I mean, so we're seeing it here.
Yeah, so we'll have Kyle Edgar on the inside of Milbacher. So Milbacher, he's taking that outside line. I don't know if he's doing that to maybe work out a deal with Kyle and just kind of not use up too much of their equipment early on, or if he thinks the outside line is the place to be, if maybe he just prefers that over the inside.
Definitely interesting, because we was able to see earlier the inside actually paid off earlier in the heat race. So maybe he didn't see the heat race. I don't really know, but we'll see if it pays off for him here. As there's a look at your weather, by the way, the track temp has dropped quite a bit now, down to 109 degrees. As the pace car drops in, green flag about to come out. Let's see the restart, and green flag back out of the air, going down into turn one.
Great start from Andrew Wood on that outside lane in row number 2. He's going to be side by side with Kyle Edgar going in to the corner, and that outside line did prevail for Milbacher, as it is a tight battle for that second spot.
Yeah, really tight coming off turn 2, basically holding the 47 down a little bit, but Andrew Wooten looking to try to take the second away. Oh, he backed up that corner quite a bit going in.
Yeah, trying to get very good drive off as the 47 hanging tough right there, as they are door to door. Possibly a little bit of contact, but couldn't quite tell as Wood and Edgar are battling hard. That
is one dangerous place right now to be side by side that close. As the 47 going to get hit, and chaos is going to break out as they stay green for now. Do we stay green, or the Kyle Edgar? It does. Caution comes out after the spin. He hit the wall pretty hard there and went up on 2 wheels.
Yeah, couldn't tell who was behind him at that moment. It might have been Brinson right behind him. Just that slight contact going into the corner is enough to send someone around.
That's one thing we talked about. Sometimes you're just not entirely sure when somebody might have to lift, especially going in the super late models. It's these cars, they're not as heavy as like the Xfinity or Cup cars or anything like that we see racing here normally. So they handle a lot different compared to the cars, and they react so much quicker. And they're just like super light. So the slightest touch, these things go around.
Exactly, yeah, and look at 47, he almost had it saved too. Then it was the second contact from Brinson that sent him around, yeah.
So we talked about it, the points thing, and he kind of wanted us to speak about it. This could affect him, honestly.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's little stuff like that that can really send someone backwards. As Brinson, he was sitting in 4th overall, so we'll see if he ends up having to get sent farther back after that contact.
Yeah, usually they send these guys to the back, and one thing that this group has changed with the Lowell's team and all that stuff, no fast repairs anymore, which I like personally, because you want to make this as realistic as possible, and I don't like when down pit road just gets your car made back clean.
Yeah, exactly, and it makes it all the more real for these drivers.
Yeah. Usually you got to take care of your car a little bit better. So I'm curious, Who was it that started on the pole? I know James, but who else was it that was up there with you? Remember the Brinson?
I do not remember off the top of my head.
I was curious what would happen when they got back up over the 61. I know the 61 drove pretty aggressive. I just wonder, maybe a payback or something like that. You kind of remember how people race you early on. But I can't complain. James got the lead. I think, what can you say?
Exactly, yeah, and drivers hold the best grudges,
Yeah.
I'll just tell you that.
So as these guys cross the start-finish line, and the green flag coming back out here in a few moments. Pace lights are off. That's one good thing about short tracks. You don't have to wait too long for the, or iRacing in general, you don't have to wait for the cleanup crew to come out or nothing like that.
Yeah, cleanup crew in iRacing is definitely one of the best. They get these drivers back out racing pretty quickly.
I'd want to be interested to see, because I don't know, have you got to see what the new damage model actually looks like?
I've not had a chance yet.
It is very interesting. I got to drive the Skip Barber's car, and once they add it to these oval cars, it's going to make it so much different, because even a Skip Barber car, the wing can literally fall off and damage the car behind you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting when they add it to these type of cars.
Yeah, iRacing making all the right adjustments, it seems like.
They are, yeah. Don't give them credit on that. So here we go. Pace car about to drop in. Wooten on that low side, and then Millenbacher up on the high side, like we've seen a couple times now. As green flag back out of the air.
Great jump from Wooten on the inside as he's going to dive it down deep into turn number 1, I'm sure. Drift up the track ever so slightly, and right there is Colin Almond in the 67, trying to sneak into that second spot.
Almond looking to try to get a little bit of advantage. Remember, he had to start back in 6th after the invert. Right now, the battle will be for the lead as they go into turn 1. Wooten backs that up quite a bit. Oh, 61 overdrives.
Yeah, he slides up the track, and here goes the 67.
Oh,
Almond's going to dive down to the inside. He diamond that corner perfectly as they're going to be 3 wide coming down the front straightaway.
Who's it going to be? Andrew Wooten. Oh, contact up front. All right, well, give it to him anyway, I guess. A little bit of rough. How's it going on in turn 1? Battle still up front for the lead.
Yeah, and they're 3 wide farther back for that 4th spot, beating and banging all over the track as one car gets sent way down inside. Cannot tell who that is.
Cody Brinson that got sent down quite a bit there. Wow. A lot of beating up front.
Yeah, up front is Wooden and Almond side by side now for that lead with Bowen right there in that 3rd spot.
Almond does lead that lap. First lap left for him. He does clear the 22. 22 may get to run on that high side. We'll see if he tries to cross him up down the backstretch. I don't think he should be able to.
Yeah, the smart thing to do right now, not quite to halfway. I would just kind of start riding it out, get in a groove, and not wear out too much tires. As Bone misses that corner, looks like he drifted a little high. That might allow the 61 of Milbacher to get a run off of turn number 4, but nope, they will stay single file.
Here comes Dalton Collins as well. He is actually working on the back of the 61. Dalton, of course, started in 7th, currently running 5th right now. FAXL turn 2.
Yeah, your top 5 are single file, top 6 almost, and then it starts the side-by-side action deeper in the field. As it looks like that time Collins looking to the inside of Milbacher to see if he can be able to get a run.
Off turn 2, off turn 4, not going to be able to get it. Let's jump back a little bit. Here's Stephen Chung and Tyler going at it. Oh, 97 pushing up quite a bit. Stephen trying to get the run on the outside. Cody Brinson back in this as well, back in 8th. Of course, we've seen him get ran a few minutes ago all the way to the inside.
Yeah, it's tough break for Brinson as he was keeping his nose clean for the most part, and that's going to send Stephen Chung in the 84 up into the outside wall and bring out the caution.
No, he stopped on track, and what's bad about this, and he is actually still sitting there, and there he goes. That is another one of the guys that was inside the point standings. I believe he was 3rd.
Yeah, he was tied for 3rd with 89 points, so he was sitting right up there.
So we're seeing some point, we thought it might be a little bit early for the points to really become a factor, but one thing you don't want to do is have really bad runs and finish last or anything like that.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, just consistency is the biggest deal, and if you're not able to stay consistent throughout the year and set yourself up later on, as we get to tracks like Irwindale and whatnot, then you're gonna be in trouble.
Because also these guys run the K&N series. They do not race this coming week. They actually will be back on track on October the 18th at Richmond. And you can watch that on Extreme Sim TV. And they'll be doing that over there. So make sure you check them out. Pretty good showing last week whenever I got to watch them. So make sure you check out the K&N series. And if you're looking to race in it, holler at them. You never know.
So we mentioned some of the tracks we do end up going to next week is Lucas Oil in South Boston, got Martinsville, Richmond, Irwindale, New Smyrna, and Milwaukee Mile to round out the series. But question for all you viewers at home, and I guess some of the drivers too when you go back and watch this, are what are some tracks you'd like to see on the schedule?
That'll be an interesting conversation.
Because there are quite a few good short tracks out there that aren't on the schedule, and even maybe some bigger tracks that we might want to take these super late miles too. But
mine would be Southern National. I would like to see.
Yeah, that's a fun track for these super late models.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting. It's a really short track. That one, maybe even Oxford Plains.
Yeah, I think wherever we take the series, it's going to be bringing on some great racing.
There's just so many good tracks that iRacing actually has. That's one thing I'll say about iRacing. They do not lack short tracks. And that's a good thing, though, because to me, that's where real racing is done. Let's just be honest.
Exactly, and that's kind of the conversation up at the top series right now is getting back to the roots of short track racing.
It needs to be.
Exactly, like Nashville, Fairground Speedway in Nashville. I'm actually excited. I'm heading out there at the end of the month for the All-American 400. So I'll be heading your way in a little bit.
You'll have an idea of what the racing's like.
Yeah, exactly. And then even tracks like Evergreen Speedway that used to come to. The trucks came here in the 90s and early 2000s. So it's these small little short tracks that NASCAR needs to get its roots planted in again, and I think that'll help the series grow a ton more.
Yeah, you've got tracks like Bowman Gray. I'm not personally the biggest fan of Bowman Gray racing. Just my personal opinion. It's a lot of history. I respect it. It's awesome seeing the arguments and all that stuff. That's pretty cool. But I like seeing those Southern National tracks. Nashville. I like stuff like that. That type of racing. I think that's just interesting to me.
Yeah, I think Fairgrounds is definitely one track that should be a bucket list track for everyone. I mean, I'm excited. I get to check that off in less than a month now. Awesome. I mean, it's a great facility. I mean, it's great racing. So it's hard not to enjoy a track like that, and it's just where NASCAR used to be, and the roots used to be there, and that's when the sport was on the uprise.
That's when it was good.
Exactly. Hopefully we'll get back to the good old white knuckle short track racing.
Yeah, because that's where you see drivers, man. Like honestly, it's a conversation I know for another time, but that's where you see the best drivers, like on short tracks, because it's not easy rolling these things around.
Exactly. Yeah.
These cookie cutter tracks, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. It puts it back in the driver's hands,
right.
which is where NASCAR needs to be. It gives drivers that grew up on this kind of stuff and really grinded their teeth. It gives them the chance to put their name back up on top.
Guys think Kyle Busch wins a lot now.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're getting ready to roll. Colin Allman, he is on the inside line with Andrew Wood to his outside. So the leader's been picking it different lines. So we'll be interested to see how it works out going into number one.
Different than what we've seen. You see the 95 get a really good launch there. Dalton Collins able to get around. I thought he was going to get around Christopher Bone, and I lied. We'll see. Momentum,
Yeah, Wooten kind of backed off going in the corner. And makes contact with the 97. Colin Allman goes around. That is your race leader. Makes slight contact with the inside wall. So there's that tough racing we saw. We're talking about coming off. And we're just now past halfway as well.
Colin Allman has to be so tired of getting hit. He's been knocked back so many times and had to drive his way back up. The only problem is this time he's going to have a lot more cars to drive through.
Exactly, and he did make contact with the inside wall with the left side. You can see it there on the tire, and it'll be interesting to see how much that really affects the car.
Yeah. And I'm curious what's going to happen to Andrew Wood, if he will be back there with him or not. We'll have to wait and see. Laps complete, or about to be 34 laps complete.
Yeah, looking at the replay, he gets a good run off, and 97 was awfully low, I will say that.
Yeah.
Or 67, my bad. Colin Allman, he was running awfully low. He had plenty of room to come up the track. It's just that tight racing, I guess. I didn't know if he was trying to pinch the 22, if he knew he was there or not, but he had a lot of room up top.
Yeah, for guys that may have never ran this track on iRacing, or you might not have an idea, the center of this turns at New Hampshire is extremely, extremely tight. Like the apex is really tough once you start turning. And, that's one of the tightest tracks I can think of. I mean, there's some other tight tracks, but this one is tough.
Yeah, well, you asked me earlier how much this is like Martinsville, and that's that's the biggest similarity.
Yeah.
I mean, speeds may not be very different, or may not be very similar,
Right.
but
The center of the corner.
exactly, yeah, the tightness of it, having to be patient and not drift way too high up. I mean, it is a tricky track to run.
The thing is, we head to Martinsville with this series, so that's going to be interesting. Martinsville, one of my favorite tracks to watch a race on, and we're going to see these guys do it in November on the 19th, so that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, just about a month away.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little over a month away. It's going to be an exciting race for sure.
Let's see. Read some of the chat, see if anybody commented on it. Daniel Dye said he wants an in-car interview.
I don't know. I think that might be kind of dangerous.
It might be pretty tough right now. There ain't a lot of lap cars, so it's hard to get that. It is a fixed league, Robbie. As well, somebody said the Roval would be interested in these cars.
A super late model on a Roval, wow. I mean, I've seen super late model racing on road courses before. The Northwest Tour actually years ago in the 90s and 80s used to run a road course in Northern California. So
that would be interesting.
Yeah, super late models. I mean, I'm all for it. I've kind of brought the conversation to drivers about a road course at Evergreen before. I mean, we have the space to do it, but it's definitely tricky.
It would definitely make things, interesting in these cars just because how quick the get up is in them on the exits. It's pretty interesting.
Well, yeah, we're seeing cars on this oval slip and sliding out of corners.
Yeah.
That's just how much horsepower these guys have. So
yeah.
put them on a road course, they'll definitely be sliding all around.
You see the 22 of Andrew Wilton dropping back, so that goes to show you right there was a penalty enforced on him for causing that caution. So that's going to turn the lead over to Dalton Collins.
Yeah, tough break for him. I mean, going back to that replay, it's a little tough because he was pretty low. I mean, he did make contact. He could have backed off, but when you're battling for the lead, you're going to be pushing and giving it all you got.
So you see the cars working down in turn one. Definitely a different camera view. I like that. They are double filed now. And they go back.
And right there is Christopher Bone. He's tied for points with Kyle Edgar. And where is Kyle Edgar running right now?
I don't know. He was really far back at one point. Actually, he's 22nd. Oh, he is out of the race. That's 16 laps down.
So, if Christopher Bone's able to keep his nose clean, looks like he's gonna be able to take over the sole points lead. But we do have some of our other drivers, Stephen Sean.
I want to mention, by the way, these cars are having 550 horsepower on iRacing Super White models.
So it's a lot of power
taking
off these corners. Yeah,
that's exactly what the cup cars run now on the intermediate tracks. So
yeah, and with these with lighter bodies and the lighter chassis, it's definitely a lot to handle. And here we come, going to the green flag. Dalton Collins on the outside, Christopher Bone on the inside.
Good start there by Collins. It's going to bring the 61 alongside the 3.
Yeah, the 97 of Tyler, he's right there as well. Milbacher on the outside line, trying to get around Bone. He's going to carry a lot of speed off that outside line. We'll see what he's able to do with it going in turn number 3.
You're looking back on board of Dalton Collins' car. You see the battle for second place. You see that damage right there on that 61. Bone almost making some contact there. We're seeing a lot of guys slide up quite a bit out of these turns.
Yeah, tire wear this late as we just get 2/3 of the way done, hitting lap 40 next time by. At 61, Milbacher, he's going to miss that corner and drift up, and that's going to allow the 97 Tyler DeVosnio to roll through into that 3rd spot.
Good job on that one. So he takes over 3rd for now, as now Cody Brinson looks to the inside of the 61.
Yeah, Cody was running up there earlier, then he got caught on the inside of a 3 wide and got shoved down going down the back straightaway, so he's gaining momentum back up as he's trying to get around Milbacher now. He's going to tuck in behind him going down into turn number 1.
I just want to say Milbacher maybe a little bump there from Cody, but Milbacher comes in here. For guys that don't know, I-rating is based on skill level, has a 7,000 I-rating, so he is definitely up there in I-rating. Right now, 34.
Yeah, he's showing it. I mean, he's been pretty consistent up there, battling the top 5, and he's been keeping his nose clean, which is proven big.
We got 3 wide happening a little bit further back, and that doubles out the single file as Matt Eddy looking to the inside of Brandon Stokes, who may be going around. He sends it into the wall instead of correcting back in front of the guys. Caution does come out. I would give Brandon Stokes 100% credit for that because he could have turned out into the field.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you get put in that position and you want to try to save and keep fighting it, but sometimes putting the wall is better for the rest of the field, sadly.
I think there was actually some net code involved in this too, and I don't know if you entirely know what net code is on iRacing anyway, but if you don't know, and there definitely was net code there between Matt Eddy and Brandon Stokes. For anybody that don't know, iRacing basically thinks it's basically an internet issue. And iRacing thinks that the car is a little bit bigger than what it should be, so your car is surrounded by an invisible box, but that box is basically your car, pretty much, if that makes sense. So, internet problems, and somebody come up and hit that invisible box, and usually it sends somebody around, and sadly that's one of the biggest issues with iRacing. But usually it don't happen too many times, but it does happen, especially in certain tracks or something like that, or somebody's, internet might not be the greatest or something like that. We tend to see it.
Yeah, and what was interesting about that is actually the 34 of Jade Franklin came in and got in the back of the 87 of Matt Eddy, which then pushed him up into who was that got around? Stokes that got around, so
I'm wondering if this is going
one of
to
those
34.
one of those chain events. I mean, just diving down the corner, you bump the guy in front of you, that bumps up. I mean, it's short track racing.
If the penalty would go onto the 34, or would they just consider that something else? I'm not real sure how that would be issued.
Yeah, we'll see what race control comes up with, as they're still single file trying to get it sorted out.
I don't know how many guys is actually working race control tonight, but if anybody is interested, enjoying the league, message one of the race control guys and add to the league, Richard Orr. Great guy. You can message him, try to get involved in this. This is one of the biggest super late model leagues that there is in iRacing. This is a brand new league. I just want to point that out. They're not that old compared to some of these other leagues, and you can see by the car turnouts, a lot of people are liking it.
Yeah, it may not be old or have that history behind it, but I mean, it's run very well, and it shows by the number of drivers that come around. I mean, we had a 21 car B main. I mean, that's pretty unheard of, I feel like.
Yeah, it's quite a bit, to be completely honest. I agree. So I'm looking right now. I'm trying to find. I thought I had something about when they started, but I thought I did. I lied. Anyway, pace lots are still on the pace card. Dalton Collins trying to go back to back. Of course, he did win the K&N race. We're getting down to this one. We're coming to 15 laps to go, or 16 laps to go next time by.
Yeah, the gloves will be coming off now. I mean, you've done what you can with tire conservation, and it's gonna show what you're able to do now. I mean, with these final 14 lap shootout when we go green, it's gonna be something else.
I feel like every time we talk about Christopher Bone, I know that first race, he's just always there in every race we see him in. He's always up front. He's really consistent.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show if he's up there in points. I mean, 91 points overall for the first 2 races. Sitting up there tied for first. Looks like he will be taking over the lead if he's able to keep his nose clean. He's one of those consistent drivers, and that's what you need to do to be able to be a contender for the championship at the end.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to help him here tonight, as long as he can keep his nose clean, like you said. And that's the thing, even though he's up front, we don't entirely know what's going to happen. We've seen a couple guys up there having some issues tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he can do all he can. If he is a clean driver, he's a very patient driver, which is huge. But maybe guys around him won't be as patient, and that could prove detrimental for him. Yeah.
So it's something we're going to be watching. So a big points night right now going on for the 3 car. We'll just have to wait and see if it pays off in this one.
Yeah, it looks like Dalton Collins will be taking the outside line, so he'll have Bone to his inside. We'll see how hard Bone's going to dive it in and push. I mean, a track like this, how flat it is, how long the straightaways are, you can really dive it down in there and try to slide up and be able to kind of take away the momentum on the guy on your outside.
We've seen the inside and outside lane both work, so it's definitely something kind of strange on which line to pick. Nobody really is 100% sure which way to go.
Yeah, it ends up being down just to driver preferences. Looks like Dalton Collins getting a really good jump, and right there is James Milbacher. He's been consistent all night long as he's giving him a big shove down in turn number 1. Here comes Bone flying back on the inside.
Watch the momentum coming from the outside as well. As at 61 may get a run off. Not going to be able to get the run like I thought he would. He's still up front. These 3 cars single file for now anyway.
Yeah, Bone's going to squeeze his way up there, and he gets the nose from the 61. 61 goes hard on the wall, rolls it over. What a save from Christopher Bone, though. He's still sliding off at turn number 4 and ends up going around.
We will look at both of these wrecks as well, guys. And this wreck right here is a pretty big one.
Yeah, like we were just talking about, Christopher Bone needed to keep his nose clean and just got the rear bumper from the 61 of Milbacher. And Milbacher goes hard on the outside wall and ends up spinning out and flipping over.
I know Bone got the wall on that spin around, but I'm going to be honest. He drifted all the way through that corner and decided to turn it into the outside wall, kind of like what we've seen Brandon Stokes did instead of to the inside where all the other traffic was.
Yeah, he was drifting that corner hard. I mean, he was wheeling that thing the best he could and just could not quite save it.
So it's going to change a lot of things right now, even though Bone's going to be, okay as far as points go. I mean, you got to start to wonder, it's kind of helping some of these guys that did or might not have a great finish or didn't have a great finish, like Colin Allman or somebody like that.
Exactly. Well, the big name I see up there who was tied for 3rd place in points, that's Cody Brinson. He currently runs 5th. And, I mean, his competitors are all down. I mean, Kyle Egger, Christopher Bone, Stephen Chun, they're all down farther in. Ryman Castle isn't here tonight. I mean, it's looking like it's going to shape out well for Cody Brinson in that 13 machine.
A lot of people coming up in points in this one.
And that's just going to be how it is throughout the year. I mean, you got to keep your nose clean throughout the year, and if you're not able to do so, it's going to show in points with how, especially, I mean, we had 5 cars within 3 points of each other. So
that's
it really,
up as well.
Yeah,
Joe
exactly.
Lawrence has worked his way back up.
Yeah, we saw him go around earlier after contact, and caution did not come out for him, and he spun down to the inside, kept it rolling.
Went all the way to the back. So he's done a good job now, showing in 4th place, and that might be somebody that might be able to compete for a win.
Yeah, exactly. Just got to keep your nose clean.
Time's running out, and that's one of the biggest things as well. You don't have too much time left in this one. Pace lights are still on. We're going to have about 10 laps to go. So we do got time in case we have another caution. Remember, anything under 5 laps, the race is official. No green, white checkers here. That is one rule that they actually took off. So we do not have green, white checkers anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting if we're going to be able to keep our nose clean and get a green flag finish on the green flag. It looks like we're going to have about 9 laps to go when we do go back green flag racing.
And I want to mention, by the way, we mentioned South Boston on the schedule. That race was actually scheduled to be ran earlier in the year, and I believe they switched that with Lucas Oil. I believe that's what it was. Or was it New Hampshire? I think it might have been New Hampshire, actually. No, they have added Iowa. It was actually supposed to be run with Iowa, and they switched it back to South Boston. So Iowa's a definitely interesting place. We ran out on November 5th.
Yeah, we got a lot of great tracks we're gonna be looking at throughout the rest of the year. I mean, it's an exciting schedule to say the least.
So, pace lights are off. We're gonna have 10 laps to go once the green flag comes back out. And remember, if we're under 5 laps to go, that will be the end of the race if we get a yellow. So far, we've had 6 of them, but we've had some green flag racing in this one.
Yeah, one name we have not mentioned is Connor James, who right now sits in that 2nd spot on the inside line of the 1st row.
Started 17th.
Yeah, he's been keeping his nose clean, working his way up, conserving tires, and we'll see how much he's got left in the tank as we got about 10 laps to go.
It's impressive. So I thought I seen somebody. Never mind, I'll All right, here we go.
So the 2nd row, it looks like the outside lane of the 2nd row has been able to get good jumps and been able to work their way into the corner. So it'll be interesting to see what Joe Lawrence is able to do with that. He's going to be following Dalton Collins on the outside as we get the green flag right now.
We're going to restart about 5 rows back, so it's kind of strange there. But there you see, Joe Lawrence going to get a big restart.
Yeah, he gives a huge shove to Dalton Collins, and he's going to try to clear him on the outside of Connor James. And he's going to do so going down the back straightaway. Now let's see what Joe Lawrence has for Dalton Collins going down to turn number 3 as we got 9 laps remaining.
Joe Lawrence wrecked earlier in this race. Right now, Collins kind of extended that about 4 car lengths right now.
As a caution flag does come out, not quite sure who is involved farther back in the pack.
27, I think, went around. Let's see, contact. Was it Brandon Stokes? Oh, nope, it was the 10 car. Came up, making contact with the 27.
So Brian Cole and Robbie Douglas both involved.
Brian Cole continues on. Robbie Douglas just spins to the inside. So we're going to get one more chance at this, guys. This next green flag that we have will be the final one. And the curious thing is, we've seen Joe Lawrence get a great restart last time. I'm curious if he, may have another chance to grab another one.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if Don's going to go with the inside or outside. He's been making that outside lane work, but with Joe Lawrence to his inside, I don't know. It's a tough call. It's just going to come down to driver preference.
Collins started back in 7th, so by all means, he's not been, he wasn't the fastest in qualifying by any means, but definitely showing he's pretty fast right now.
Yeah, he was the first car out of that invert, so if he would have been a little bit faster, he would have been on that front row position. But he just missed the invert, so he's starting in the back, because we do see a little bit of front end damage on his car. Could have been from his spin earlier on, but it's gonna be a good racing right here.
I want to mention Christopher Bone after that wreck that he got involved with earlier. You see him; he has not moved up. We talked about him gaining a lot of points at the moment. I'm going to be honest; he's not going to gain too many.
Yeah, it looks like he's sitting 15th, I believe, right now. So unless chaos breaks out in front of him, or he gets just a lot of good runs right here in the final 6 or 5 laps, green flag laps we have left, it looks like might hand over the points to Cody Brinson. He's currently running 5th.
Somebody said, great job, Robbie. They're probably not saying that right now, sadly, as Robbie just got turned. He will be starting and actually coming down pit road to get some of that damage fixed, so he will be restarting at 19th place. I want to mention, by the way, we got 4 cars out of this race right now. Actually, I apologize, 5 cars. Colin Allman, James Millenbacher was up front. All these guys was up front or really fast. Kyle Edgar, Adam Johnson, and Michael Goddard.
Yeah, tough break for some fast drivers right there. So Kyle Edgar, he's 32 laps down. Not sure if he's still running out there or not. So he's out. Steven Chun back there in 17th. He was up in the points battle. Wow. Christopher Bone in 15th. I mean, those are some big names that are running farther in the pack. So it's going to be bouncing around points all week long.
Got to give a shout out to Joshua Hart, by the way. Haven't really spoke about him. He's up to 6th place since we started the lap. He's been quiet in that 41 car, but done a pretty decent job.
Yeah, biggest mover right now is Connor James, who just runs 3rd. He started 17th, like you mentioned earlier. Great run for Connor there.
Yeah, he snuck up, I think, on a lot of people in this one, to be honest. He's been quiet. His car don't look bad at all.
Yeah, sometimes quiet is good.
Yeah. Just see a little bit of rubber on the front of it. Other than that, the car somehow clean, to be honest. And that's tough to do in a place like this.
Some of these short tracks, just getting away with a clean car is a victory, but he's running 3rd right there. I'm sure he's not content with that, as all eyes are going to be on Joe Lawrence and Dalton Collins, though. We'll see how hard Joe decides to dive it in there. I mean, when you run on that inside line and you're diving in hard, you don't have a lot to lean on. You're going to be drifting up the track, and hopefully not into Dalton. He's going to be on his outside.
Yeah, it's going to be curious because we've seen a lot of cars, like you just mentioned, drift up quite a bit and making contact.
Yeah, also keeping the car underneath you coming off the corner as well, where it might be seeing some cars go a little bit sideways, don't have much tire left, and they're going to be giving it the throttle all it's got coming off the corner as pace car pulls off.
There we go. Green flag. Oh, man. I think the 11 jumped, but I think he was able to kind of get slowed down. Not sure what's going to happen. I think he was able to give that spot back, as we may have a wreck happening behind him. We do.
Yep, we do.
Caution's out. Race is over. And that's a big one, by the way. 27 involved. Brandon Stokes involved. And I just mentioned Joshua Hart, and I just kind of messed that all up because he
Bone was involved as well. But biggest mover right there on that restart was on that 98 machine. You saw Brinson dive it down to the inside. He had a great jump after that kind of mix-up from Joe Lawrence. So we'll see what the official results are here momentarily.
Matt Eddy was involved. 54. Stephen Mastro, Brian Cole. So what happened was the 22 of Wooten actually got into the side of whoever it was that tagged Brandon.
Looks like the 43 was also involved as well. Yeah.
The 22 tagged Daniel Dye, and that's what sent him up into Brandon. And somebody just blew up. I don't know, all the 27. Robbie Douglas. So yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen with race control if they do anything with the restart. I don't know. It may be looked at after the race. But it looks like her top three is going to be Dalton Collins, Joe Lawrence, and Cody Brinson. And Connor James got to be pretty happy as well, finishing in fourth.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, he started 17th, and Jade Franklin gets there in the fifth spot. Didn't mention that name much at all. Started 14th. Tyler DiVanasio started 15th, and then starting 24th from the B main, Mark Bremkamp comes up there in the 7th spot.
We said it. Somebody from that would finish decent. He's the one that did it not.
Yeah, I mean, that B main is a stacked house, and if you're able to keep your nose clean, and I mean, I'd be happy with the 7th place finish after starting through the B main.
17 spots gained for him. That's not bad.
Not at all.
Given 2 laps to go, as you see the flagman holding the yellow flag. Sure, yep, that will be the race official. 34 now spins it out.
Yeah, why not?
So 8 cautions here. We did see some green flag runs. Usually, man, you see these races kind of in, under caution away. Everybody's going at it for everything they got to try to get every little spot.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm sure Dalton Collins wasn't upset about that at all. I mean, if he's able to clear going down into turn number 1, then he's going to let the drivers behind him have at it.
Definitely not bad at all. Definitely going to be happy when the winner of the K&N race this past Tuesday. And coming here tonight. Or not this past Tuesday, this past Friday, I think they had it Friday. And he won that one, so he's going to come in here and win this one as well. So Dalton Collins, one of the hottest drivers right now, coming in. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think this might actually be his debut race.
I'm looking at points right now, and I believe that is the case. I do not see him anywhere in the point standing. So this is his first race in the league and his first.
Yeah, so that's 2 wins in the Western Super Series for Dalton Collins in his debut races for the K&N and for the Chevrolet. So definitely not disappointed.
Yeah, that's a great start, as I would say.
Got the iRace for life on the side of his car here tonight. And of course, Joe Lawrence and Cody Brinson here as well. The top 3. Brinson's car beat up, but still got to be happy with third, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be safe to say that Cody Brinson will take over the points lead after this weekend. So we'll hear from him momentarily and talk to him and see how that kind of plays out his role throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, you mentioned Christopher Bone coming in here, tied for the points league, going to finish in 12th in this one. So.
Yeah, Steven Chun, he's going to finish 13th. He was in that battle as well. Yeah. And then Kyle Edgar down there in 22nd.
Well, here you go. Coming off turn 4, the checker flag is going to wave for the 95 Dalton Collins as he wins here at New Hampshire. A big win for him in his debut race. Not bad at all.
Not bad.
We'll speak to him here in just a moment as well with Joe Lawrence and Cody Brinson. And you see the 95 going up a love tapping the pace car just because he wants to thank the pace car for giving him the victory.
Exactly. Why not? So
we'll talk to him here in just a minute as he goes around the track. And probably going to do some donuts or burnouts or something. He's having a Mustang nose on that car. So before victory lane. Great race though, wasn't too bad at all.
Yeah, definitely entertaining. One of the bigger tracks will go throughout the year, and it proved for some great racing. I mean, these drivers really got to open it up on these long straightaways and these flat corners, and ended up working out well for Dalton Collins as he picks up his first win in his first race in here in the Western Super Series.
Sure. So we can go ahead and bring him in if you want to grab him, or do you want me to grab him?
Let me see if I can find him real quick.
Right underneath us.
All right, Dalton Collins, it's Kyler and Adam up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes.
So it's your first super late model race here on a Tuesday night with us, and you pick up the win. I mean, how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels great, man. I ran this series on Friday in the K&N cars. Hang on one second.
Get some congratulations from your teammates.
Yeah, man. Great debut with the Super Series here in this league. You know, like I said, I ran Friday night and had a blast there. Pick up the win. Came here and I really didn't think I had the speed to win this thing. You know, just cautions flew. You know, at certain times that got me in the right position, and really the contact between Andrew and Colin later in the race is really what triggered me getting the lead. So just stayed out front, hung on to it, and nailed the restart as best I could, and got.
So I got a question. What, in your mind, what was the most important part of this race? I know being out front helps, but saving tires, was it that? Was it something else, or was it the restarts?
Right at the end, if you could hang on to the lead, if you had the lead, it was restarts. But I mean, with the track conditions, with the track being so slick and the track temp being so high, you really just had to keep the tires in and not spin it coming off the corner, especially center off. But it really was just trying to stay out front and not spin the tires while I had the lead. But that was probably the two main things, and just trying to stay out of trouble. We had a lot of cautions tonight, and just trying to miss those wrecks, dodge those wrecks, and just try to stay out front and keep that.
All right, before we let you go, who do you need to thank on your win tonight?
People at the guys at AW Manufacturing, Cody Brinson, Andrew Wooten. They helped me with the supers week in and week out. They're the ones that got me into this league, and big thanks to them for all their help and being there for me and support me in my super racing, and just Extreme Sim TV for coming on board for the race we're about to do here in a couple of days at Martinsville in the late models, and just everybody that supports me. I really.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, who do we got?
We'll bring in Joe Lawrence. Joe, it's Kyler and Adam. You guys got a copy?
Yep, I gotcha.
All right, Joe. So you spun early in that race, caution to come out, but then you just worked your way back up and came home in second place.
Yeah, it was quite the roller coaster ride, but definitely can't complain with a second place finish.
So I gotta ask you, man. Traffic was very tough to work through here. That seemed like one of the biggest issues a lot of guys was having. So I asked Dalton the same thing. In your mind, what was the toughest part of this race tonight? Because, like Kyler just said, you did have that spin earlier, and you was able to work back through all that traffic. Was that one of the biggest things that you had to deal with tonight?
Yeah, it was definitely very difficult. It's just kind of hard to get up underneath people and keep the traction. You get really loose on the bottom coming out of the corners. With such a long straightaway, you lose momentum, and then you got nothing for them.
And with all these cautions that came out, I mean, was it really just a race of keeping your nose clean and grinding hard, or, how much tires did you really have left as well?
Well, you definitely want to save tires just to try and keep it ready for a late run, but it's always important to keep the nose clean. Tracks like this, aero really makes a difference. One little hit can take you from first to 10th, and that's nothing you can do about it.
For sure.
And who do you want to thank on your second place finish tonight after a roller coaster of a race, as he said?
I gotta thank the team. I got brought in with Kyle for this league, so I gotta thank him for bringing me in, and then I gotta thank the guys, all of you who run it. Without you guys, it wouldn't be as much fun as it is.
Good job, buddy.
All right, and that is your second place, Joe Lawrence, and we'll bring Cody Brinson now.
Alrighty.
All right, Cody, it's Kyler and Adam. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. How about yourself? How you feeling after that third place finish?
Oh, that was a mess.
Well, I gotta ask you, man. I've broadcasted a couple of your races for. I've seen you race for about a year now, I guess, maybe a little bit longer, something like that. You and your team, one of the best super late model teams there is. I'm just gonna be honest. I've seen you win a lot of these races. So, how does this one compared to some of the ones you've been in? Because it's a big field out here.
It's this week especially compared to the last couple weeks. It was more stacked than normal, and I think honestly that was part of the problem. Is people just want to come out here and they want to win, like all of us do. So all of us are going for every inch from the green flag, and we're gonna clash every once in a while. And I think it just got really heated, especially in the top 10, and it just took out a lot of really good contending cars.
That's for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna jump over the points conversation as unofficially you're gonna be the new points leader, according to our calculations. As some of the other top contenders drop down. I mean, is that gonna change the way you're gonna race throughout the next few races, or are you just gonna keep on grinding hard and trying to keep your nose clean?
I'm always gonna go for wins. I'd rather win the race than anything, but I'm not gonna do anything dumb to try and hinder my points lead, because I'd really like to get the championship in both Supers and K&N if I get the chance to.
All right, before we let you go, who do you need to thank for your third place finish tonight?
I'd like to thank Dalton Collins, and congrats on his win. He just started running this, and he's starting to show already. Just won K&N and Supers, and Andrew Wooten, and Extreme Sim TV, and that's about it.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks. Move him back down. So Kyler, man, race number 3 in the books. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, going to the bigger tracks certainly shows it's going to be a tricky season as we bounce around from the short tracks to our big tracks. And the points conversation is going to keep getting hot and hot. It's not going to be quite as tight after this weekend as we saw Chun, Bone, and Edgar all have issues, which allowed Cody Brinson to jump up top. So it's going to be fun going into the next week, or 2 weeks away. I'm excited for the next race.
So I know we just heard Cody say that he he's going to go out and race for wins, and I respect that 100%. My biggest concern with all that is, yes, you want to win the races, but the big thing you want to win is the championship. I personally think you're going to have to drive a little conservative, especially once we hit the mid race point.
Yeah, I mean, it's the overall goal, and he may say he's just going to keep driving hard, going for wins. I mean, that's obviously going to be the goal of any race you enter.
Yeah.
But I think as the season rolls on, it's going to be in the back of these drivers' minds, like, hey, I'm in the points, I'm not going to do anything stupid, like I'll settle for a third place when they may have a chance to go for the win, but it might be risking a good finish overall. And I mean, if these drivers have issues like today, if Bone and Edgar and people like that are having issues and dropping to the back of the pack, that's going to come in the mind of some of the other drivers that are in the battle for the points. If they're running up front, they're not going to want to do something to let those guys back open the door.
Exactly. So that's going to do it for us here tonight from New Hampshire, guys, for the Western Super Series. Kyler Hope and Adam Chapman with you in the booth all night tonight. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll be back live again tomorrow night, Top Fuel Racing League, and I don't know where we are, but we'll be back with them on Facebook and YouTube as well. So y'all have a great night. Kyler, you got anything else you want to say?
I'm just looking forward to a great race in 2 weeks away. Be sure to tune back in.
Sure. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great night, and God bless.